Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Paul Galbinsky. I'm the Dean here at the Oakland School's Technical Campus Northeast. And I want to thank all of you, the parents and the students who've joined us tonight for our virtual career night, which are going to feature our construction technology program, our machining program, and our welding program. You're going to get a chance to hear from our instructors throughout this evening, and we're so pleased that you joined us. So I want to start off by what is career and technical education? Well, it's when you combine strong academic knowledge with technical skills. And what does that do for the students? It gives you a competitive advantage in the future. We are an extension of your high school that prepares you for high demand, high skill, and high wage careers. I always like to take a look at the OSTC winning combination. So what does it mean? We take the academics at your local high school that you're attending, we partner those, we marry those, we add those with the technical skills, career and technical education that you would pick up and learn at the campus, and that equals a definite competitive advantage. One of the nice things about the campuses is there's lots of opportunities for you. You can go right into the workforce. You could go into a further trade school. You could go into the military armed forces and armed services. You could go to a 2-year community college. You could go to a 4-year university. You could go into our pre-apprenticeship program. There's opportunities abound for those even with our technical early college. And so when you talk about taking those academic skills and the technical skills that you learn at the campus, that definitely gives you a competitive advantage in any of those areas that you pursue throughout your career. So the county has 4 of these technical campuses. Tonight, we're coming to you virtually from our homes, unfortunately, in our current status, but the staff that you're going to meet tonight is from the Northeast campus in Pontiac. We have a campus in Clarkston, a campus in Royal Oak, and a campus in Wixom. These technical campuses are set up for juniors and seniors to come to the campus as an extension of your high school for 2.5 hours, 5 days a week, so that you can explore and experience and get an opportunity to be involved in career and technical education. I'm now going to turn it over to Mr. Maddock, who's our counselor, and we're going to kind of work together here along with our teachers to share this information with you this evening. Mr. Maddock?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. As Mr. Galbinsky said, my name's Randy Maddock. I'm the counselor at the Northeast campus. And again, you're here tonight to get some more detail on our construction program, our machining program, and our welding program. However, I at least wanted to let you know that the Northeast campus does offer 12 career technical education programs. If you weren't aware, maybe something that you'll hear tonight will spark an interest in something else. Maybe you've got other children at home, nieces, nephews, cousins. So we at least wanted to let you know the 12 programs that are offered at the Northeast campus. We've got automotive technology, collision repair and refinishing, computer programming, construction, which is one of the programs we're highlighting tonight, cosmetology, culinary arts and hospitality, cybersecurity networking, engineering, robotics and mechatronics, entrepreneurship and advanced marketing, health sciences, and then the last other two that we're highlighting tonight are machining and welding. Mr. Galbinsky and I have been here for the past 5 Thursday nights highlighting other programs that I just went over. And next Thursday night, we'll bring a close to our virtual career nights for 2020. Next Thursday night, December 10th, we'll be highlighting the culinary arts and hospitality program and the entrepreneurship and advanced marketing program. However, if one of those other programs that I mentioned did spark an interest, or maybe you want to learn a little bit more about that, we'll be back in 2021 with a couple information nights where we'll highlight all 12 programs, very high level, rather than detailed information like you're going to get tonight. But again, tonight you're going to hear from our construction technology department, our machining program, and our welding program.
So one of the things we always like to start out with, this is a great visual. This is our construction technology career tree. And I just want to take a moment to have you explore this. When you take a look at a root system, strong foundation, we talked about the academics. We also have, with a strong root system, experiences. And you're going to learn a lot about the experiences that you can have here at the technical campus. Professional skills, a lot of people will call those soft skills. Those are very important. How to collaborate, how to problem solve, how to make sure that you have a positive personal brand. All of those are elements that we teach at our students, and then our students have that skill set to take with them. And finally, in a strong root system, you need passion. You gotta be passionate about whatever it is that you're going to do. And you're gonna hear tonight from our instructors and how passionate they are about their programs and what they're gonna give you an experience of what it would be, whether it's a construction technology, machining, or welding. So as we move up the tree from the root system, you can see there the entry-level careers. And this is upon program completion, the types of things that you're able to do. You can go out and be a construction trades laborer, right? That's one of the things that you can do right out of the school. You can go into landscaping. You have a lot of different opportunities. There's opportunities to be a carpenter apprentice, okay? And so when you look at that, that's some things that you can do right out of the campus. Now, I know our students that are with us tonight, people that are in games, right? You got to know, well, how do you unlock that next level? How do we get to the next level? So we go to technical careers and you look at those. How do you unlock that level? Some further training, some further education. So when you look at that, that may be where you have some apprenticeship background, an associate's degree that you might have, but maybe you're going to be in there and be a general contractor. All right. You have some opportunities potentially to maybe go as an HVAC journeyman. And again, these are just some of the samples of the careers. And then the last one that we take a look at would be going up the tree, would be the professional careers. Those that might require further education, further training, maybe a bachelor's degree, all right? Go into construction management. Maybe you want to go into engineering. Maybe you want to be a building manager, a contractor, an architect. So these career trees just give you a snapshot of all of the wonderful options and opportunities and careers that you can set your sights on, starting with being enrolled in this particular program. At this time, what I'm going to do now is we're going to introduce our construction technology instructors. Mr. Sweeney instructs our first-year students, Mr. Sweat instructs our second-year students, and Mr. Renault works with everybody first and second year, and they truly work as a team, and they're now going to take a moment here to highlight the construction technology program.
Thank you, Mr. Galbinsky. The technology for me sometimes. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight and being able to actually participate with us on this evening. I know COVID is really difficult for a lot of us, but I know it's going to end, and I'm really excited about when we are all coming back face to face. What I do is I teach the first year construction folks. A word about myself real quickly. I used to have a business for 15 years, and then I got into teaching it 21 years ago. So I've been a teacher for 21 years. We, at the Northeast campus, actually introduce kids, 11th graders and some 12th graders, into the construction field with doing a variety of things. But what we use is residential and commercial construction projects to do that. In the course of my year with you, you will be operating hand tools and power tools, doing various different things. First of all, workplace safety is important with all our programming here. So we spend a few weeks talking about workplace safety. Then we get into blueprint reading. So you'll get into it in a big way, how to look at blueprints, how to actually decide how to build certain things through those blueprints, and how to actually do some simple sketches yourself. Then we use carpentry as our basis. So we'll be doing big projects, we'll be doing little projects, but we'll be showing you floor systems, wall systems, and roof systems in the carpentry field. We'll get into masonry. So there's a lot of my students who come in who have worked with their parents before, laying block and brick, and ask for that expertise. So we'll spend some time building some walls and building some projects in the masonry trade. We also take you out on field trips. So we'll investigate heavy equipment operation. There's a field trip we have where we'll have 100 pieces of equipment and 500-acre area with the operating and engineers, and they'll put you in equipment. So we'll talk about heavy equipment if anybody's interested in that. Roofing, we'll actually teach you how to roof. Teach you how to roof in the classroom, but most of the time it's outside the classroom. So we'll get into roofing in a big way. Well, then after we've actually framed the building, we've roofed it, we've actually had the weather off of us, then we get into the mechanical part. So we'll get into electrical, we'll get into plumbing, and we'll get into HVAC, as well as siding, drywall, painting, and the trim of carpentry. So all those things that are the basis around our construction we'll begin to show you. Mr. Sweat, I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Hey, thank you. And thanks everybody for your time. I sure appreciate it. So my name's Aaron Sweat, and I'm the second year construction teacher at the Pontiac campus. If you come into the class as an 11th grader, first year you'll be with Mr. Sweeney. Your senior year, you'll be in my class. My class, we build a home that is built at the campus and then gets moved at the end of the year into Pontiac. And so when you start my class, we'll go over safety first, and then we'll jump right into the construction of about a 1,400 square foot house. That's a picture of it right there. So the students will work with me in an apprenticeship style manner where I'll have a tool belt on and be working right side by side with them. We'll also work with industry professionals such as plumbers, electricians, and mechanical contractors to do the completion of all the rough mechanical, rough plumbing, and rough electrical work. We have all of our work inspected by city and some of our work inspected by state inspectors. I say some of our work because we're also building a pole barn at the school with the students right now. So the students that come into our class and stay for 2 years are going to leave with a very well-rounded experience in both commercial and residential construction. They'll have dealt with inspectors. They'll have went over building code. They'll have been certified in OSHA 10 and have the opportunity to be certified in the OSHA 30 certifications, which are nationally recognized certifications. We also rent different heavy equipment throughout the year. So the students will have a little bit of an extended time behind the wheel of different equipment like skid steers and sky tracks. And then also want to mention just the work-based learning. We've got some great business partners with the work-based learning. And my students have worked on multi-million-dollar homes and all kinds of just really neat projects, even a nice hotel build. So go ahead and play the video. There's a little bit of a time-lapse video that's been put together here, and it just shows our students working. And I'll talk a little bit while it's getting set up. I like to say that I have the hardest working class in Oakland County. Looked like we were really hustling and bustling, of course, because that's a time-lapse video, but they really are moving on the job site every day, especially on the cold days to stay warm. We also get a lot of publicity, and luckily have gotten a lot of publicity for the house build, and so the students get to see themselves on the news, and we've had several students that make it into newspaper clippings. Maybe we could show a little bit of this video, Mr. Medic.
Making $60,000 4 years out of high school? Well, the answer is part of an ongoing conversation about college versus trade schools. In Pontiac today, a first, a house built by students under the age of 18 is about to go on sale. And Paula Tutman was there for the ribbon cutting.
So there's a bit of wow attached to this house. I want you to take a look, and you can see that it's on a temporary foundation. And that's because in the next couple of weeks, this entire house is going to be loaded onto a flatbed truck and moved to a permanent lot in Pontiac, where a family is going to purchase it. And the students who built this house are really excited, thinking about the future of the people who will live in a house that they built, as well as their own futures. The fanfare was less about the house and more about who built it. 40 students in the Oakland School's Technical Campus Pontiac House Build Program. This facility specifically built to teach students skilled trades. Today, with this project, they're done.
You hear a lot about career and technical education and preparing our students for careers. That's what we're going to view here today.
Here's how it worked. Students started in November, learned from the ground up how to build a house. Drywalling, siding, venting, flooring, roofing, all of it.
We took the best that Michigan could throw at us, worked in all the conditions.
Students from school districts throughout Oakland County learning the trade skills ropes.
Our teachers taught us, like, there's different keys. If you look here, it has measurements of how, like, the window should be.
What did we do on the first time? I think we put the wall on the wrong side, or built like
that wall, right there.
We put we built the wall, but we put the wall on the wrong side of the house.
Want to talk about sweat? It was not fun when instructor Mr. Sweat found out, but these kids learned precision and how to do it right.
Every measurement has to be, like, spot on, because it could mess up down the road.
I learned how to tape drywall, how to do all the seals.
You have to take off the back of the insulation, put, like, the insulation on your back and, like, slide it in behind this, and it's not there's not a lot of room behind this. So that was really difficult.
But when it was done, they passed every single inspection the first time out. These skills are so badly needed. Construction companies were actually begging these students to leave their real-world class to work in the real world between class.
Students can leave our program, start out at about $16 an hour. If they do a 4-year apprenticeship, in their 4th year, they will make $60,000 a year. And if they went to a 4-year university, they would owe about $60,000 after that 4 years.
I've never really been a big school person. I learned at a young age that I really like working with my hands, and going to college, I mean, that's a lot of money and it can get you places, but so does this. This is never gonna go out of style, and this is never gonna get, like, replaced by a robot or something. This will always be a job, and I'm gonna be straight out of high school making money.
Paula Tutman, Local 4.
Students from Oakland County school districts like Pontiac, Rochester Community Schools, Oxford, and Lake Orion all took part in a student build project.
So just to say one more thing before I wrap it up, I want to talk about the competitions. So with all this hands-on learning that we're getting, when we take our students to competitions, we've been pretty successful. And so our students compete in Skills USA, and we compete in all the careers that you just saw. So we'll take students in masonry, plumbing, electrical, carpentry, and then a teamworks project, which kind of blends all those together. And we've had some state champions and some top 10 finishes or top 15 finishes in the nation. So very fun class. When you sign up for a class like this, you are going to be moving, not sitting around very often. And so you'll learn a lot with your hands. There's still a lot of academic that goes with it, but this is a very hands-on class. And you leave with a lot of pride with the project, especially when you see that house pull off the school parking lot and get placed on the foundation. It's really, even for me who's done it, for years and years, there's just a lot of pride when I see that happen. So I sure appreciate everybody's time. Oh, wait, I do see the OSHA certification. I think I did talk about that. We do have the OSHA 10 and the OSHA 30 certifications, which are paid certifications. And then we have a partnership with LIUNA. And so you can see they had the pro day at our school. And that what that is students between the junior and senior year, they get to do a 9-week training with the Laborers International Union of North America. And the first part of that, they just are paid for their gas money while they're in a class. And the second part, they're paid for an internship to work with a construction company. They make $15 an hour while they work with this construction company. We've had students that come back for their senior year that participated in that, and then have went right out and worked with their employers on our work-based learning program throughout the year. And so that gave them the opportunity to work 4 of the 5 days a week with their union contractor, making 15. Actually, we had one student that was making $18 an hour working for LIUNA. And so the money that he was making and time, the hours that he was working, we were all going towards his apprenticeship, because that was a registered apprenticeship program. And so the opportunities that we actually have at the campus and in this program are just an amazing head start for anybody that wants to get into the construction career. So many that I guarantee I've missed over half of them tonight. And so there's just some photos and maybe a video of the Going Pro.
Their future is brighter than the helmet and vest they wear today. Today is signing day, and these students are committing to closing the skills gap.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer declared May 6th to May 10th as the inaugural Going Pro in Michigan signing week. Much like high school student athletes committing to playing collegiate sports, these students are celebrating finding careers in the professional trade.
This event also allows us to celebrate the great career pathways in professional trades.
According to the U.S. Department of Education, only 16% of high school seniors are interested in a STEM career. For that 16%, the hands-on learning is what draws their attention.
You wouldn't learn these type of things in a normal classroom just reading through a book. You actually get to interact with the instructors. You get to operate heavy machinery.
During the signing event, students were joined by family and friends while they signed a letter of intent to recognize their commitment to the professional trades.
Mainly, it's just so that we are recognized for the hard work that we're going to be putting in. I honestly felt like a professional player, like athlete, joining a team.
In 2015, women filled 47% of all U.S. jobs, but held only 24% of STEM jobs.
I tell young girls that I see, like, yes, get in the field, it's perfect, it's worth it, and you can continue on, you can be up in the CEO process, you can own your own company, you can build your own company. You don't have to just have everything handed to you. If you want something, you earn it, and you have to go for it.
With high-paying jobs in high demand, these students seem to be on the right track. In Pontiac, Michael Nafso, ABC 12 News.
So I think one thing that needs to be said is if you're camera shy, this may not be the program for you. We seem to get a lot of publicity here. But it's awesome because it's good to put in your resume. We have a lot of great resume builders here, a lot of photo opportunities, and really a lot of authentic education that's taking place on the job site in the construction classrooms.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Sweeney, Mr. Sweat, for construction technology. At the end of tonight, we've got 2 more programs we're going to take a look at. We'll be here to answer any of your questions. So now we want to move on and take a look at our machining program. Again, you can see here the root system, the entry-level careers, the technical careers, and the professional careers. And once again, each of those levels, you just need to unlock those next levels through continual education or certification or experience. So now I'm going to turn it over to our machining instructor, Mr. Alex Mangani. Mr. Mangani?
I just want to thank you all for coming out tonight, taking the time to check out what we've got to offer. We really do have some fantastic opportunities, and no matter which program you choose, if you select a program here in career and technical education at Oakland Technical Campus Northeast, you can't lose. It's a tough act to follow following Mr. Sweat. He's a fantastic speaker and an even better teacher. So I hope I can do this. I hope I can do my own program justice. But anyway, machining. So I like to define a machinist as a creative, free-thinking, outside the box type of person. Somebody that never got bored playing with Legos. Somebody that likes to build stuff. When I was a kid, I used to pull tractors out of the neighbor's garbage and fix them up and get them running, or build bicycles out of parts, you know. That's the type of person we're looking for. We're looking for somebody that's a non-conventional thinker, that can do unconventional setups. And, you know, so that type of individual combined with, you know, a passion for making cool things out of metal, that's what we look for. And that's exactly what we do as machinists. So in our program, we like to invent, we like to design. We hold very tight tolerances. We work in some cases to a 10,000th of an inch, which is a very, very small amount. When you figure A piece of paper is about 4/1000ths of an inch thick. A 10,000th would be 1/40th the thickness of a piece of paper. So very precise work we do. You're also going to learn to program and create parts in our CNC machines. So we have some brand new state-of-the-art Haas machines. We have a brand new state-of-the-art ProtoTrack conversational CNC machine. So you'll not only learn G&M code programming, but you'll also learn conversational programming. You'll begin on the manual equipment. She's running a manual lathe here in this picture. So we start, and this student is running a manual Bridgeport mill. This machine has been the same essentially since the turn of the century. Not this century, but the previous century. It's a Bridgeport vertical milling machine. So this machine, was what the early Model Ts were made on. All the machine parts were developed on a machine very similar to this. It didn't change much. Since then, they've added digital readouts and powered feeds, but the machines have very much remained the same because their function is largely the same since the early 1900s. Here we can see a student setting up a job on the manual lathe again. In this case, he's indicating a part in on a 4-jaw chuck, holding it to the nearest 1/1000th of an inch. So a 1/1000th would be about 1/8 the thickness of a piece of paper. And here we have a student setting up a job in Haas CNC Machining Center. All these skills that you're going to develop in our program are going to position you to leave this program, assuming you work hard and take it seriously. You can leave our program and go directly into industry. And we've had students that have left and gone directly into industry in companies like High Tech, like Hero Tech, like Dalton Industries. Probably the one we're most proud of is Williams International. And Williams is known for making cruise missile motors for the U.S. military and for making the jet engines for Cessna for their business jet, which is like a Learjet. Those positions are just fantastic jobs. And we're fortunate to be here in Detroit, which is still one of the engineering capitals of the world. Detroit has lost some manufacturing work since its heyday. Back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, we aren't making quite as many cars as we did at one time, but we're still developing, designing, and engineering those cars. And those are the premium machining jobs. Those are the ones in prototype, in design, and engineering. Those are the premium jobs. And our students are leaving this program and going to work in industry, making between $15 and $20 an hour, assuming they worked hard in class and got all the way through the curriculum. So it's pretty neat. I can brag on some of my students. They, I've got one student that's been out of school for 2 years, and actually 2 of them. And they've been working in industry since they graduated, never set foot in a college classroom, and they're both getting ready to buy their first homes right now. I've had other students that go into a program that we offer called Matt Squared, where it's set up similar to the Kettering model, Kettering University, where you secure a corporate sponsor, you go to school 1 term, to college after you've graduated from our program, you go to college 1 term, and then you go to work for 1 term. And your employer pays for your college. And then they often also pay you a stipend while you're in college. So there's some really great programs like that. We also have the Technical Early College program, which allows you to earn a 2-year degree in machining while you study in high school. So that's a really fantastic program. That's available to juniors coming in. So your junior year would be just like you plan, right? You go to your home school for your junior year. For half the day, you'd come to our school for half the day. And that's where things get different. After your junior year, you become a senior. You go exclusively to our school, to our technical campus, study machining here. And then you begin taking classes at Oakland Community College and studying machining there as well. So you work between our school and Oakland Community College your senior year, and then you go 1 additional year to Oakland Community College, and you graduate after your 13th year with a degree in machining at OCC in addition to your high school diploma. So that's a really neat program for some of you. Obviously, it's a college workload and it's a little more difficult than high school, but for those of you that are academically strong, it's a very good option. And here's the great news. You don't pay a dime for that education. The state of Michigan pays for your college education. You graduate with a 2-year degree, all free of charge. So we have that program. We have the work-based learning program where we can, once you've completed half the curriculum in machining, you're able to go to work instead of going to school. So between 1 and 4 days a week, you don't go to my class, you go to work and you earn money in place of going to school. So we have some really neat programs for you guys, should you consider coming to learn with us. Looks like Mr. Maddock put up some information about our MITES success last year, not last year, 2019, I guess that would be the 18-19 school year. Last year we didn't have MITES because COVID hit, and MITES usually happens in April and May. Of course we were out of school in March. So, but in the 18-19 school year, we took 2 first place awards, a second, a fifth, a seventh, an eighth, and 4 honorable mentions. So we had a lot of success there. Owen Bundy and Jack Lineweber won first place overall in the state. They each won a $4,000 scholarship. In the engine category, they made an air motor. Owen won first place and another $4,000 scholarship for his entry in the flat work CNC category. And then he won a second place and a $3,000 scholarship for his solo entry in the engines category. So we have students that are winning state championships, so we've got some really good things going on, and there's just tons of potential for you guys. I can't encourage you enough to consider what we've got going here. So Owen also received an honorable mention for his lathe project, and Jack Lineweber received honorable mention for his shaft submission in the tools and parts category. Total that year, we earned $15,000 in scholarships, our students did. So again, there's just so many ways you can take this. You can finish our program and go to Ferris State, which is universally recognized as one of the best machining schools in the world. I have one student there who 2 years out of our program was teaching classes at Ferris as a sophomore. So, we've really got some good things going on, and I strongly encourage you to come check it out. First chance you get once we get an open house and you guys are allowed to come around again, I'd be happy to set up one-on-one appointments so that you guys can come see what we're doing. And you guys are always welcome to visit me.
Thank you, Mr. Mangani. Appreciate that. Now we're going to take a look at our welding program. And again, as you can see, the career tree, the careers that are available right out of the campus at entry level, those technical careers that are available with some additional education and training, and those professional careers that are available. And right now I'm going to take the opportunity to introduce our welding instructor, Mr. Steve Langdon. Mr. Langdon?
Hello, everybody. Good evening, and thank you for visiting us tonight. My name is Steve Langdon, and we've had a large number of successful students over my 20 years as a welding instructor. In the last year, I found out that one of our former students is working for SpaceX, working on building the next rocket that we'll send to Mars. So we also have former student from our campus working for General Dynamics in the Navy. What do we do in welding? Well, if you see here, we can control fire, electricity, and heat, dismantle and fabricate a wide range of products. We use advanced equipment like a CNC plasma cutter and TIG welders to join and cut and bend and manipulate metal. Develop skill and competence, work ethic, and stamina necessary for the high-paying career anywhere in the world. And so we have students all over the world, whether they're working for a skilled trade union or a large company. We even have some students that are in the military. I'm in contact with one of our former students who's currently stationed on Guam, another student that's working for the Marines in Japan. This student is currently gas welding. If I know him correctly, he is currently in a local sheet metal workers union working through his apprenticeship. And that started right here. He actually started working for the sheet metal workers the day after he walked across the stage at his graduation. And 2 weeks later, he came in and shared with me his first paycheck, which was outstanding. His parents wondered what he was going to do with his life, and he showed them right then and there. He's still at it. Here's another student. I know this project at the end of his senior year, he wanted to make something for himself and his family, and so he's welding up a bonfire pit. His brother's currently in the program and brought in some pictures of the bonfire pit in action. He's another student who's currently working with our local sheet metal workers and doing very well and very happy with the trade that he's currently pursuing. This student may have gotten the most press lately. Noah Castillo came to us in unusual circumstances, not as a junior or a senior, but he got in as a sophomore. And he came in with an interest in welding and came in and just outstanding student, made it to our state welding competition in overall welding, and just couldn't wait to get out into the workforce. For his senior year, he worked in heavy trucks, maintaining them. And as soon as he got out of high school, he took a little bit extra welding over at Oakland Community College. And through some connections there, he's been working ever since at AM General. I talked to him last night for a brief moment via text, and he's just loving the life that he's leading. He's making good money, getting lots of overtime, and just being an outstanding example of the kind of students that come out of Oakland Technical Campus Northeast. We have other partners that actually have hired some of our students while they're in high school. All Laser Welding Solutions is actually a kind of a former student-owned company. When I student taught at Utica High School, one of those guys who was in the class actually with his brother started that company. MPD is a tool and die welding facility just up the road off of Lapeer Road past where the Palace used to be. And they've had about a half a dozen former students come through right at the end of their senior years and then directly after graduating. And they've had tremendous success in a high-end, good-paying industry with lots of hours. Some of our students have had the ability to go to Hvac Products. Hvac Products has a niche where they're one of the few companies in the United States, maybe the only one, that reproduces classic Corvette frames. So if you wanted a new frame for your 63 Corvette, that's probably who you'd go to, and one of our former students would probably be the ones welding it up for you. Other companies like Solaronics and Puritan Magnetics are in progressing technology fields, but they needed welders to put their stuff together. And we supplied those welders. Some of the students, and to get them ready for those jobs, we have them fabricate right in the classroom. This is a metal rack that we built for our robotics team, the Juggernauts. Not only do we build parts and pieces for all over the school, but we also help to build the robot. Every year, several students work with the robot team to help them do their best in the FIRST Robotics and Okra robotics competitions. These two pictures were students as they were doing projects at the Ironworkers Local 25. We have 2 or 3 former students working there right now today, going through their apprenticeships. And one of them, one of my earlier students, she actually has sat on the board of this union. You never know who's going to go in that direction. One of our former students was helping put together the Amazon Center where the former Silverdome was like 2 months ago. I'm not sure if he's still working on that project. This picture was from last November. And what the Ironworkers did is they invited high school students to come visit their union training facility, and they put together simple welding competition where they gave out prizes and welding jackets and gloves to the students that came in and showed them what they could do. A very great day. It's always a wonderful opportunity for students to get out of the school and actually do some welding at one of these other local welding facilities. This is kind of a great picture for me because this is how our students come in. We bring them in, we get them dressed up in some welding gear. Most of the time they're green. Probably 80% of our students have never struck an arc before in their lives. We get them outside and we get a nice class picture, because in our school, it's all about what you can do with the arc. This is another former student working on a project. We've had some students get some of their senior pictures taken while they're in their helmets, while they're doing their welds, and it's a great opportunity to kind of show what kind of future and what they're planning on doing with their future. Speaking of former students with great potentials in their futures, this we can see all the way to the left, we have Noah Castillo. We have some other students here. Griffin Little, who's part of our School to Early College program, our Matt Squared program. This is a great team. This is actually our welding team from a couple years ago that we took to the state competition over in Grand Rapids. Wonderful opportunity in Skills USA for students to show leadership and skill proficiencies. Just a wonderful class of students. In addition to skill competitions, we've also partnered with our auto body program, our machining program, and built pedal cars for the Detroit Autorama. The small midget sprint car that we built a couple years ago here in the picture. Also, the little pie truck or UPS truck in the background was another former pedal car that we built that we have on display at the school. Both of these projects took first place in this competition at the Detroit Autorama. We do go up to Ferris State University also. Ferris has probably the best known welding engineering program in the state. This gentleman was also part of our Matt Squared program, or a School to Early College program. As you can see in the picture, he won a third place in gas tungsten arc welding. We have a wonderful day at Ferris going up for the competition where their students get to tour the campus and they get to eat in the cafeteria there and kind of get a nice overall view of Ferris State University's college experience. Another entity that invites us out to their competition is the American Welding Society. Student in the blue shirt furthest to the right is Jake Kanarski from Oxford High School, and I believe he took 5th place this day out of about 40 regional high school students. The American Welding Society also gave out, I think it was around $5,000 or $6,000 in scholarship money at this competition, along with small welding machines for all the top 5 competitors. Great way for students to show off their skills and get to know students from the other surrounding welding schools in Southeast Michigan. The gentleman all the way to the right's Glenn Kay. This is held every year at Washtenaw Community College, another outstanding college welding facility in Southeast Michigan. This is another former student who's working with the Sheet Metal Workers Local. Andrea was with us about 3 years ago. She wasn't able to complete the program right away, but she kept at it. And she's a great example of students that take a non-traditional path to their final goal of being a welder. It took her a little bit longer than some students to get into the union, but I talked to her over the summer. She's enjoying it. She's making great money and pursuing her passion of making a living through welding. Right now, we have, because of COVID, we've had to introduce other forms of teaching welding that aren't necessarily in the lab. One of those is our online curriculum through Miller. Miller has what's called Open Book, where they have a series of videos and short quizzes that students can take to get information about welding. Doesn't totally replace the hands-on welding that we do in a typical year, but this is part of one of the ways that we're getting through this time and still moving forward with our students' welding knowledge. As Aaron Sweat and Jim Sweeney mentioned from Building Trades, welding has also adopted Career Safe OSHA 10 for our safety curriculum. Like they mentioned, it's a nationally recognized credential, and The Iron Workers and several other welding skilled trade unions recognize this as potentially getting them closer to the OSHA 30, which is a 30-hour safety training program that their skilled trade union members have to go through. All right, back to Mr. Galbinsky.
Thank you so much, Mr. Langdon. Appreciate it. We're going to do right now is toss it over to Mr. Maddock, and he's going to continue the rest of our virtual career night. Mr. Maddock?
All right, thank you. And yeah, before we wrap things up, hopefully you learned a lot from Mr. Sweeney, Mr. Sweat, Mr. Mangani, Mr. Langdon. We'll have an opportunity here in just a few minutes to answer some questions that you may have. But I do want to take a couple of minutes, and Mr. Mangani actually explained a little bit about the Oakland Technical Early College Program. Our machining and our welding programs are part of the Oakland Technical Early College Program and a partnership with Oakland Community College. So both teachers alluded to the fact that students are able to actually earn an associate degree through Oakland Community College, no money out of pocket, as a partnership between OCC, the technical campus, and your student's high school. So how does that work? Like Mr. Mangani mentioned, 11th grade, students attend their high school just like they normally would. They come to the technical campus just like they normally would. A lot of times students will take one class, typically an evening class, at Oakland Community College their 11th grade year. But that one class is counting toward the associate degree. 12th grade, again, like Mr. Mangani mentioned, students still come to the technical campus for their second year of the program, just like they normally would. Most of the students no longer take any classes at their high school, but now they're taking 2 or 3 classes each semester at Oakland Community College. At the end of that senior year, there's that one more year in the early college program. That's what makes it early college, is that 13th year. You're not attending your high school at all. You're not attending the technical campus at all. You're attending Oakland Community College full-time. And again, at the end of that 13th year, you have the potential of completing your associate degree. And again, no money out of pocket. Your tuition is covered, textbooks are covered, any fees that are incurred, those are covered. So again, an excellent opportunity for students in the machining and welding programs with the Oakland Technical Early College Program. So our campus, again, like Mr. Galbinsky mentioned at the beginning, we're the Northeast campus. Students primarily from Avondale, Lake Orion, Oxford, Pontiac, and Rochester. Those are the 5 main school districts that come to our technical campus. Now, our welding program oftentimes gets students from other school districts because our Northwest campus up in Clarkston, they do not have a welding program. So oftentimes we'll get students from Clarkston, Brandon, Holly, Waterford to come down for welding. Likewise, our Southwest campus over in Wixom, they don't have a construction program. So oftentimes we'll get students into our construction program from one of the schools over in that area, like West Bloomfield, Farmington, Walled Lake. But predominantly, our students are made up of students from these school districts. Students attend the technical campus for a 2.5-hour block every day. They can either attend a 2.5-hour block in the morning from 7:45 to 10:15 and then return to their high school for their afternoon classes, or students might begin the day at their high school and come to us in the afternoon from 11:20 to 1:50. Again, it's a 2.5-hour block of time every day, and you're in that same program every day. The 5 school districts that I mentioned here, they all provide a bus to the Northeast campus for students that go into welding or construction from a district outside of the Northeast quadrant. Oftentimes those students do need to provide their own transportation. However, the reason that we're holding these events, we want to make sure that students are picking the right program for the right reason. And again, that's why we're holding these virtual career nights, so you can get your questions answered. You can learn about the programs before making your decision. However, if you've decided that you do want to come to the technical campus and you're at a point where you know what program you are interested in attending, the application process is very easy. You go to our website, www.OSTC-online.com. You scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see a block that says apply now for the 21-22 school year. You click on that, a big blue box comes up that says apply now, and then that will take you through step by step completing the application. It does go very quickly, it's very easy. As soon as you click submit on the very last page, a copy goes to your student's high school, to the high school counselor there, and a copy also comes to me at the technical campus. So then the high school and the technical campus can start working with your student on planning for the 21-22 school year. Again, next Thursday night, Mr. Galbinsky and I will be back highlighting the culinary arts and hospitality program, as well as the entrepreneurship and advanced marketing program. And then after the holiday break, there's a date in January 7th, and then one more date in February where we'll give a very high-level overview of all 12 programs in case students missed one of our previous virtual career nights and they're still making their decision. I'm going to leave my email address and Mr. Galbinsky's email address up there for a while. Feel free to copy those down, maybe snap a picture. We are here to answer your questions. We do work with all of the area high schools, and again, all of the area high school counselors and administrators. So feel free to email us questions, work with your high school counselor. But again, we want to make sure that, that families are making the right decision for their student. And again, our goal is the right student going into the right program for the right reason. Again, I'm going to just go back here to the application steps. That website again, www.OSTC-online.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page. You'll see the big box at the bottom that says apply now for the 21-22 school year. And as soon as you click on that, you'll see the big blue box that says apply now. And again, that will take you through a few screens. It doesn't take very much time at all. It's pretty much just names, addresses, phone numbers, birth dates, and again, which program that you eventually want to go into. So this time I'll send things back to Mr. Galbinsky, and we can entertain some questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maddock. Again, if you didn't have an opportunity to click in the chat box to fill out our Google form, please do so, but we can take questions via chat if you'd like to do so. That's all of our staff is going to be here now. This is your opportunity to ask us questions you have about any of these programs. You've got experts in the industry that shared with you what is available. So if you'd like to type a question in the chat, please feel free to do so. If you'd like to just unmute and ask a question, we can operate in that manner as well. But we appreciate you taking this time and listening to all of these wonderful opportunities. But now's an opportunity for you to engage with us and ask us questions about any of the programs or what the next steps are. So we're going to open it up to questions. Again, you can type them in the chat, or you could unmute and ask your question.
Hi, good afternoon. I had a question. So as some students may struggle with the high school portion of this, what happens if their grades fall below acceptable?
Yeah, so so a lot of the students that come to the technical campus are hands-on learners. So sometimes they aren't the type of kid that can sit in a desk 6 hours a day being lectured to, working out of a textbook. You see Mr. Langdon, Mr. Sweat both pointing to themselves. So a lot of times those students get to the technical campus and flourish because they're up, they're moving around, they're applying what they've learned to a real world situation. And oftentimes, and again, we've all been in this, the technical campuses a long time. Oftentimes we see their grades back at their high school actually starting to go up because they're only going to be taking 2 or 3 classes back at their high school because they'll be at the technical campus for half the day. And again, I know all the teachers here tonight would be able to, I mean, they're probably thinking of students that they currently have or have had that really struggle maybe with a 6-hour a day regular classroom setting, whereas they get to the technical campus and really flourish.
When I got into my high school welding class, I was not a good student, and having welding first thing in the morning really helped me establish a balance between my academic classes and classes that I enjoyed taking. And so that made a tremendous difference. I was not college bound going into my senior year, and now I have a master's degree. You know, my story's not unusual for the panel that's here.
I mentioned a student that's at Ferris right now that was teaching his sophomore year up there. He took my class because he didn't like academics and he wanted to get out of his home school. What he found was machining gave him a reason to excel. He just developed such a passion for the field that it gave him a reason to turn it up at his home school. And we see that with a lot of students, not just the superstars. So once they find something that drives them, it sometimes turns around their homeschool grades as well. So it's kind of a double-edged sword that works in our favor for a lot of these kids,
And again, most of the time students tell us all, I wish I could stay here the whole day instead of going back to my high school. However, earning that high school diploma is still very important. So again, getting through the English, the math, the science, the social studies, obviously that's still very important. But if they can get out of their building for half a day and be in one of the programs where it's more hands-on and they're up and they're moving around, doing things, oftentimes we do see their grades improve back at their high schools as well.
Great question. Thank you for that. What other questions do you have? Again, feel free to type them in the chat, unmute. This is a great opportunity for you to connect with instructors, get your questions answered as we're looking to provide that information for you this evening. So what other questions do you have?
Maybe is everyone still eating leftover turkey and you still have the tryptophan kicking in about this time of night? Maybe that's it from last week's Thanksgiving.
That could very well be, Mr. Maddock.
For our audience tonight, another thing that a lot of our students see is that Oakland Technical Campus is a great place to investigate potential directions you might want to go with your future. We've had students that started in welding for a year and went to culinary because they knew people that were in those classes. We've had students that spent a year in machining and another year in welding, or building trades, and then came to welding, and they mix it up a little bit following their passion. And lucky for me, I actually started an electronics program, went to a drafting program, and ended up in a welding program in that same kind of search for a pathway. So just because you start off in one direction, sometimes that doesn't mean that's where you're going to end.
So true. Thank you for that, Mr. Langdon. Any other questions? Parents, students? Anybody else have some questions regarding our construction technology program, our machining program, our welding program? Well, I thank you that we've got someone says, thank you so much for the presentation. Comprehensive. Thank you. Appreciate the feedback. That's what we're here for. We want to make sure that we're getting you the information that you need. Mr. Maddock, could you just remind some people about the next step if they're a 10th grader and they heard something they'd like to do, what their next steps would be?
Yep. So, so again, I'm going to put it over here in the chat room. Just go to our website, OSTC-online.com. The online application's there. And again, as soon as you fill that out, your high school counselor, no matter what high school you go to, your high school counselor will get notified that you've completed the application. Just so you know, just by completing it does not mean that you're guaranteed a spot to come to the technical campus, because you do have to build that into your schedule with your high school counselor. I mentioned welding. Not only our local school districts in our quadrant coming to welding, but students from the Clarkston, Brandon, Holly, Waterford area as well. We're only able to enroll about 20 students, both morning and afternoon session in welding. So again, a lot of students might end up on a wait list, but again, getting that application filled out now will let us know and will let your high school counselor know that you're at least interested in starting that dialogue, okay? And that's really the most important thing, is to plan ahead as early as possible.
Thank you. Any other questions? Students, parents? We want to, honor your time with us tonight. Certainly, hopefully it's been informative. We can't thank you enough for taking time out of your evening to attend our virtual career night. I know Mr. Maddock put up earlier in the presentation contact information. We're here to assist. We're an extension of the high school. Some of your classes that you've been taking, your 9th and 10th grade, have been down the hall. As we like to say, we're just down the road. We're able to be an extension of our high school for these particular programs that are here. So we're going to be around. If you have some more questions, the staff will stay through this evening here for the next few minutes. You certainly can unmute. If you have anything, you can please put them in the chat box. But if you've received the information that you're looking for this evening, we thank you for joining us. Please reach out to us if you have other questions, and we really appreciate you spending some time with us tonight at our virtual career night here at the technical campus. We'll be here around for a little bit. Thank you so much for joining us, but the staff will stay here, instructors, Mr. Maddock and myself, if you do think of something as everybody's exiting. Thank you for attending. Be well and be safe.
Have a good night.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I just unmuted to ask a question because I just logged on because I missed starting on time. So I watched one of these a couple weeks ago with my son, and I highly doubt my son and his dad watched it on their own separately, but was it recorded or able to play back?
Great
Can I get?
Yes, so tonight's will be recorded as well. All of our virtual career nights are recorded. They do live on our OSTC-online.com website under admissions.
Okay.
And so once they are edited and they're transcribed and open captioned, they will be posted on our website where you'd be able to go back and view them. We have several of them that, as Mr. Maddock said, this is our 5th night that we've done. We have one that we're going to do. They will be, once they're finally edited and posted on there, these will be in their entirety. Mr. Maddock does a great job. Like tonight, if you wanted to listen to all of it, is available. He'll also get timestamps in there saying construction technology teachers speak at this point, our machining instructor spoke at this point, and our welding instructor spoke at this point. So if you have some time for that, you would be able to cut right to the programs that you'd want to hear. But they all are recorded and will be.
Perfect. I watched with my son the first night, and it was great. So I can have my ex-husband watch that first one that had a couple classes or courses, whatever you call it, that might be of interest for our son. He's only a freshman, so I'm just kind of plotting ahead as a possibility of this. And then tonight was another one that I forget which construction technology was something we were interested in. just seeing. And so I'll make sure we all three watch that. My other question, and oh, I know, was it going to be a week out or more before these are ready for playback?
Yes, it usually takes a minimum a week because they have to be transcripted and open captioned. And so any of this will take some time for us to do it. So it'll probably be there. If you haven't already, inside of our chat box and there's a form that is available if you're able to. I know you're on your phone. Read out the Google Doc, but if that doesn't work to capture that information, if you email Mr. Maddock or you email myself, we can certainly gather some more information to help you with some of those if that's available. Or you can, you can just reach out and call the school and say, hey, I attended a virtual career night. I need to be connected with the counselor, and our office staff will make sure that you are able to be connected.
Perfect. I think I did some of that the first time, and I used a computer last time, so it was easy to chat and talk live. I grabbed up my phone because it was fast. The other question I had was the electrical program is only offered at the Northwest campus, and I did some digging and found out, I guess, if we have our own transportation, he could attend Clarkston. And then is there a plan to do a video conference for that program? Because I only found the Northeast campus doing these video things and nothing out of Clarkston.
Yes, so what is available is tonight, actually, Clarkston is doing a one-night virtual career night where they are having all of the programs that are there. So if you were to visit or you email myself or Mr. Maddock, we'll connect you with the dean at that campus. They would be able to get you some further information. They could probably set something up with the instructor where they could give you some further details like our instructors did here this evening.
Yeah, and I assume, what do you call it? Some of the programs are at all the campuses, but when I went digging, is only over there, and I was trying to find out, are they going to have their version of what you're doing for that?
Yes, they held it this evening at Clarkston, and like I said, they should have recordings of that, and if not a recording, they should be able to set something up for you to get a overall view, either from their staff member that teaches the program or one of the other staff members at the campus where they'd be able to help you out with that. But we're able to connect you with those people. I don't want you to feel trying to flounder and go around. If you have our contact information, we certainly can connect you with the right people at Clarkston so that you can get the information you need.
Great. This is something that I'll be able to revisit after you get it all uploaded over Christmas break when things slow down. It's something that we'll use to fill a day. And watch the one we missed tonight and the electric one that we wanted to see should be all ready for us over Christmas.
Yes, and I think you're doing a great job of doing that 4-year plan. Mr. Counselor, our counselor, Mr. Maddock, would be able to support that as well. You're doing exactly what you want to do in that 9th grade to figure out what's available, see what's happening, have some dialogue, and that's what these nights are for. So kudos to you and your family for looking out some of those pathways for your students.
Yeah, that's what I knew he wouldn't start it until he's a junior, but it would make a difference if it's something we're penciling in what classes he would take as a sophomore. And I just wanted to give it as a safety net for my son who's struggling a little bit in some of his academics, that he doesn't have to follow the same path that his big brother's on. He's a different person with a different skill set. So we're looking into it. Thank you.
You are more than welcome. Thanks for joining us this evening.